Hi, welcome to my race video from the Grand Prix in Valence. This was my first race for my team Saint-Jean-de-Monts and also my first race ever in the French Grand Prix. I didn't have a good swim, that's why all my teammates are already here and getting their bikes. And I was about 30 seconds behind the leaders in the swim. The swim was with wetsuit and I really struggled in the big group, but here I am. As you can see, I got some warm clothes underneath my race suit and I even kept my swim cap on over the whole race because that was the coldest race I ever did in my whole career. We had 8 degrees and heavy rain, as you can see, and the temperature actually dropped by a lot. On the day before the race it was still above 20 degrees, and then overnight it just cooled down so much and the weather was just nasty. So coming off the deficit of the swim, I had to chase down the chase group. So there was a lead group of about 8 and then a chase group of 11, and I could just see that chase group. So I ended up having just one athlete around me and everybody else was back quite a bit. So I was kind of in between all the groups and kind of in nowhere's land. But my aim was definitely to catch those leaders. And as always, I just put my head down and smashed it from the beginning and tried to catch them. And I was trying to work together with the other guy, but honestly, he had a little bit of a struggle to do his fair share of the work. And to be honest, I think he really did give his best and try to push as hard as he could, and his legs just wouldn't give anymore. So the situation we were in was pretty bad. Just about 10 seconds behind the chase group, and we could always see the chase group, but we just couldn't get to them. And then the big group was behind us, maybe 15 seconds. The big problem was when I was under the impression that we both would do like 15 seconds to 20 seconds leads and then switch. So you usually slow down a little bit to let the other one pass. And then, of course, if the other one doesn't want to pass or can't pass and do his lead, then you already slowed down and you already pushed a lot during those 15 to 20 seconds and you're ready to recover in the back. But then you have to keep on going and your legs are obviously smashed. So that takes a lot out of the rhythm that the two could have if they would work together. So when I had to start doing those longer leads of about a minute, I even rested my arms on my handlebars to get in that more aerodynamic position. I definitely wanted to keep up that pace to catch the chase group in the end. And here we are now slowly approaching the hill of the lap. And I was already doing like a minute lead back there. So I was pretty smashed going into the hill, but as I had to do it all by myself, there was nothing else than just smash it up the hill. As it was so wet, I had to put all my weight onto my back wheel, because otherwise my tires would have been slipping a lot. But when I shifted my center of gravity back, I didn't have any problems with traction. Also because I'm riding on Schwalbe tubeless tires and you can actually ride them on a very low pressure. I was riding with 6 bar as opposed to the 9 to 10 bars you would usually ride on a tubular tire. But now, as we are on top of the hill and I'm still in the lead, I could see getting the chase pack in front of me getting further away, because I just couldn't hold that high power all the way. And obviously I just had the one guy with me and he wasn't able to do much of the work. So now I'm cutting straight to about 5k in the bike leg, and that was when the chase pack finally caught us. And then at first I just went to the back of that pack and recovered my legs a little bit, because they were so smashed from the 5k doing basically all the work. It is always a little bit dangerous in those big packs, especially when it's wet like that, and you just need one guy having a little bit of a struggle and suddenly the whole pack falls. But luckily I think there wasn't any incidents over the whole race. So when you're in the big pack, there's of course a lot of rolling and not pedaling, and that's the time when you can actually recover a little bit. And of course it's also a little bit sad because I was riding the whole first lap by myself and smashing my legs, and seeing that those guys of course could rest their legs all the time. But yeah, that's short distance triathlon and I won't complain. So now we're going up the hill again. So this is the second lap of 5. And in a big pack you can always save some energy up the hill if you just ride into the hill rather in the front of the pack and then let the others overtake you and come out in the back. So you'll effectively ride up slower than the guys at the front. At that point I was really thinking about what to do because I knew I had good legs. I did some very good training in the weeks leading to the race, so I knew I could put in a lot of power, but obviously you can't do it all by yourself, as I have seen it in the first lap that they caught me. So I'm cutting straight to the third lap of 5, and there was a pickup of speed at that point. We were again driving into the hill there, and I saw that some guys were pushing it pretty fast in the front, and I knew that there would probably be an attack on the hill. So I also went to the front of the pack, and as you can see, those guys from Satro Wheel in the green suits, they're starting to attack. They might even have put in the team tactics that one guy is blocking there and slowing down. I don't really know, maybe he just can't follow anymore. And I was able to push past them and bridge up to the 2 guys in the front there. And there was a gap opening up behind me, and I was the last one getting to that attack group. And that was exactly where I wanted to be, with those 2 other guys, and maybe even trying to catch up to the chase pack in the front, and definitely getting away from the big pack right behind us. And we actually worked together really well, I would say. Everybody pulled their turn, and obviously it was very hard, as you can see on the wattage. But that's of course how it is if you want to get away. I definitely enjoyed that, being active on the bike and putting some serious power in. Not just because it was so cold, so that my legs would warm up, but also the sensation of just being brave and trying to do something, trying to change the race for you. That is always, it's a good feeling. As you can see, we work together really smooth, and there's no gaps opening up, and everybody is just turning over so smoothly, and that definitely makes a difference, and that's what makes a group fast. We might have even put in a little longer leads, but it's hard to change that. If it's already running pretty well, you shouldn't be trying to change the rhythm of the group. I actually didn't look back all the time when we were in the front group there, and I don't really have an idea of how far we were ahead, but there was definitely quite a gap in between. I would say it went up to 5 to 10 seconds at the point here. But I guess some guys in the group behind us, they decided that they didn't want to let us go away, and they started to chase us down. So here we're going down the hill again, and of course that's quite dangerous if it's wet like that and you're going over pretty rough roads with up to 60 km per hour. But as I said, luckily I think there wasn't any incidents at all in the whole field. So coming up is a pretty sharp corner that we had to take in every lap. And after that corner, I actually looked back for the first time, and actually all the 3 of us looked back, and we saw that the chase group started to be organized and they wanted to catch us, and they were like 5 seconds behind us at that point. And then we knew that they were to catch us, especially because there was a section coming up with some headwind and it was flat, so we shouldn't be having a chance against the big pack. And yeah, we just gave up and let us fall back those few meters. But I would say at least we tried, and there's no blame in that. So now I'm cutting straight into the last lap, and I knew I wanted to dismount the bike in the front of the pack, because that were like the soft skills I wanted to practice. And as I knew it would stretch out on top of the hill, I started to overtake everyone right on the bottom of the hill, and then went into the hill as the leader. I let 2 or 3 guys overtake me on the hill, but I definitely was right in the front of the pack on top of the hill. And then on top of the hill, when the pace is picking up again, I was right in front, and when the pack's starting to stretch out, everybody else has to work much harder than I have to at the front. And so even there was 2K to go, I never dropped back further than like 3rd or 4th spot in the pack, because it was stretched out pretty long leading into T2. And here we are already coming to the end of the bike. It's a little bit dangerous here because we're going at about 50k per hour and everybody is opening their shoes. But I managed to stay out of trouble and went into T2 in maybe about 7th to 10th spot. And then I also managed to overtake some guys in the transition zone, just running past them with the bike, because that's what I definitely wanted to do, being one of the fastest ones in the transition. At that point my feet were definitely frozen. As a reminder, it was 8 degrees and heavy rain, and I didn't feel my feet anymore, so it was like running on some strange thing attached to my legs, but I definitely didn't feel any feet. And that was also when I started the run. I didn't feel anything under my legs, so it was a pretty strange feeling. But I got into a rhythm right away, I would say, on the run, and actually led the whole pack onto the run for about the first half lap. But then there was a problem that, like I said, I had a compression top underneath my race suit, and that was so tight that sadly under the pressure of the compression top my stomach was actually starting to cramp up after a half lap, and then I obviously had to slow down a little bit because of the cramps. But then I tried to pull out my compression shirt underneath my race suit, and I did manage to, but it took me like 15 to 20 seconds, during which I wasn't able to use my arms for running, which obviously slowed me down a lot. And in the end this wasn't the race I wished for, because there were so many problems, and I definitely want to be better next time I'm racing for my team. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.